So the big news actually this morning, the Health and Human Services Secretary, Kathleen Sebelius, announced a new, rather groundbreaking initiative that will expose and render transparent how hospitals bill their patients.
What are they going to do? What's going to happen?
Well, apparently, it's pretty much been entirely obscured up until this point.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly how much it costs whenever you go to a hospital. So whether you're an inpatient for inpatient care, whether you're getting an X-ray, whether you're having a baby, the rationale behind how much your bill eventually costs has been largely obscured. And so the Department of Health and Human Services has decided that actually the best thing to do is that they actually have to show exactly what it is that they're spending on, especially those hospitals that honor Medicare. In order to have be able to service Medicare patients, they have to show how much all of their services cost. Which is actually incredibly useful because the variety of costs depending on the hospital varies. So if you go to, let's say you have a heart attack in Brooklyn and you live, it'll cost about $43,940 in Brooklyn. You go to Mount Sinai Hospital in Manhattan, and it'll cost you $16,611.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, good.
And, no, but it's like real. Like there's a prime example. There's a story covering this, and they point out that if they said this is a quote from they said when a patient arrives at Bayonne Hospital Center in New Jersey requiring treatment for the respiratory ailment known as COPD, or chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, she faces an official price tag of $99,690. Less than 30 miles away in the Bronx at Lincoln Medical and Mental Health Center, the charge is $7,044 for the exact same treatment.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things about this is, the hospitals have to, they charge based off of, whatever the cost for that particular hospital is. And they tend to blame and try to put the cost back on the patients when hospitals are actually doing quite well right now. Quite well indeed. There's no transparency on how much it costs for everybody. This is the primary reason, I think I've talked about it on the show before, why we moved to Vermont for me to have a baby.
Yeah.
Yes. Because it would have cost a hot, $35,000 to have a regular, healthy birth.
Well, how much did it charge in Vermont?
For the whole thing?
Mm-hmm.
Including all the pre-birth care and everything?
Mm-hmm.
$4,000.
What?
And I got to go to the midwives of my choice, the hospital of my choice, have the awesome crunchy birth that I wanted.
Just 4,000?
4,000?
Mm-hmm.
For a baby birth and crunch? Jeez.
Holy cheese on a cracker.
Mm-hmm. And I think what's also the important thing about this story is that, if you have health insurance, you can look at it and say like, oh, well, you're on the hook for, a 20%, copay, or you're on the hook for paying for 10% of the bill. But that 10%, so in my case, the 10% was a huge difference because it's 10% of $35,000 or 10% of $4,000.
Oh, wow.
Does you know what this means?
So even with insurance, yeah, because like if you're paying wow, yeah. That's either $3,500 or $400.
$400.
Yep, you paid $400. You paid $400 to give birth to your little one.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh my God.
This means price match, by the way, which is gonna be awesome.
I feel like, and the thing is that like I feel as if this can't be, because we touched on it a little bit on AM Twib, and I feel like it cannot be discussed more enough, because I feel like there has to be a collective the fuck from everyone that this is how we currently roll. That literally you can be within a 30-mile difference and all of a sudden you're paying this much and that much. And for what? For what? Why is this? Why is it okay? And why is the hospitals quietly going along with it, and then all the insurance companies quietly going along with it? And so everyone just kind of goes, I mean, this is what it is. As opposed to going, the fuck? Why? No. Why don't we make some rules and regulations on how this works? But no. Let's completely do that. Let's have people literally be destroying their entire lives because they had a child and or they got sick. That's a smart move. And I know Obama's obviously an asshole for this because, I mean, Obama's an asshole every time he does anything. But literally the point is, he says, if you go to the page, you can actually download the Excel spreadsheet for all of this. Inpatient charge data for the year of 2011. You can go download this from the CMS.gov. I'll actually put the link out there. And on the page it says, as a part of the Obama's administration's work to make our healthcare system more affordable and accountable, data are being released to show the significant variation across the country and within communities in what hospitals charge for common inpatient services. Which was Obama going, yeah, motherfuckers, now what? That was what he wanted to write, but he didn't. He wrote that beautiful, quiet thing. You know what I mean? Well, he didn't write it. Some intern wrote it. But, but that's what he wanted to write. You know what I mean? The data provided here includes hospital-specific charges for more than 3,000 U.S. hospitals that receive Medicare inpatient prospective payment systems. And so Dasha, let me just understand this. So long as you accept Medicare, you had to give up all your pricing?
Yeah. That is the rub. By the way, I have to issue a correction. Apparently, when you're pregnant, you don't remember things. It wasn't 4,000; it was 14,000.
Oh, okay.
Seriously, but still, it was less than half.
No. Did your husband just text you? He's like, honey.
He did. He actually did. The thing about pregnancy is you forget things.
Do you really? Is that a thing?
You do. Yes. I could leave a room. I could walk from one room to the other, completely forget what I was doing and where I was going. I had to write a Post-it note to myself that said, keys, wallet, and put it on the door.
Oh my God. Doctor,
yeah.
I think I'm pregnant.
Sir.
What? If that happens to me now. Aaron, how many times have I walked out of the office into the studio, into the engineering booth, and I go, hey, Aaron, and I just walk out.
Yep. Yeah.
I mean, it happens to everybody, but it's so much worse when you're pregnant. I don't know why. I really don't know why.
If it's worse, if that happened to you more than it happens to me now, you would basically not be able to function as a human. It happens to me so much right now, but it's the ADD. So wait. Oh my God. Babies give women ADD.
Oh my God.
I think we have a study. If we can find 5 women that all agree with this, then I have a study. Can I get money? Can I get 20 grand for this? I want to study.
We have to write the right grants. We have to frame the study.
I want to study.
All right, that's not how you go about it.
I mean, I suppose I could write a proposal, but I don't really think that there's funding for that.
I'm just saying this I think is magical how problematic this is overall, and how and now it literally is a question, and I'm dead serious. Tell your friends tell your friends who, and then they tell that dude who's kind of an asshole, but like whatever, you don't hate him completely, you don't want him to fall downstairs, but you might trip him if you don't, no one else would see. Tell him too. Tell everybody, because everyone has to have enough rage, and when they go to the doctor, go, this is stupid, this is dumb, so that, because what's going to end up happening is that someone is going to go, there's going to have to be policy that's pushed down and go, no, right? But there needs to be enough of a groundswell from the constituents to say, hey, unacceptable, I do not like this. I do not want this. Please stop it. And maybe, please note, I don't even know if that's going to work, because the fact is, corporations have a lot of money. Right? Corporations have money. I don't know. Like, it's going to be a fight. It's not like going to be like, all of a sudden, this insurance companies, come on. This is going to be a huge goddamn fight, because basically, it's going to be about, hey, you know those billions of dollars in profit you get? We need you to stop getting that, because you're screwing everyone else.
I mean, Medicare is taking, their stance on it is that, well, we shouldn't even be having like a fight against corporate behemoths, because hospitals should be, and technically, I guess, are nonprofit. They're supposed to be not for profit. So suddenly, it's, I guess for Medicare, they're like, we have the moral high ground in this on one hand, but on the other hand, yeah, hospitals are run like businesses, just like universities are run like businesses when they're not supposed to be. And you look at any hospital, I mean, people, look at the nearest hospitals. Is there construction happening on it?
Not currently.
Not where you are. It seems like every city that I've gone to recently has had a hospital with massive amounts of construction happening on it.
I don't know. I just don't know where the line is to be drawn here. I need a line because this is just terrifying overall. And as someone who just has a couple of health things, like I'll tell you flat out, I was afraid to even go have my eye, and I put that in quotes, looked at, because I wasn't sure what that was going to actually run. I was terrified. I suddenly got a hole in my head, and I'm like, I don't know if I should go get this checked out.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. I mean, yeah, I do have a hole in my head. Yeah, I mean, yes, there is actually some random orb floating stitched inside of conjunctivis inside my eye hole, but seems a little pricey.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I spent a year abroad in France, and
I bet you did.
I did. And it was good.
Miss Mitchell, please, this is not the type of program. I'm going to have to request that we do not refer to any sexual escapades during or and around the program.
I just said it was good.
No,
you
didn't.
know why he said sexual escapades. We'll get to that in a second.
So I was staying with a host family. They were very lovely. And within the first couple weeks or so, I got violently ill. It'll often happen. New food, new water. Your system goes, no. And so, in getting violently ill, I went home and was violently ill at home, and they couldn't understand why I hadn't told them to call the doctor. And I was like, what kind of luxurious, no, I'm not that sick. I'm not dying. I'm just vomiting profusely everywhere. But I'm not dying. And they were like, call a doctor. And I was thinking that they were just being extra. They're like, oh, we've got this American kid. We got to make sure she's okay. Being extra, we got to take her to the hospital. Not only did they not take me to the hospital, they had a doctor come to the apartment on a house call.
I'm sorry, what?
Checked me out. Came with his little bag.
What?
He checked me out.
Doctors come to your house?
And then left. And I felt so incredibly guilty. And when I finally recovered from all of this, I spoke to my host mother, and I said, I can't believe that you went through all this trouble to bring this doctor into the house to check me out. I was fine. And she was like, what do you mean trouble? That didn't cost anything. That's just what happens. What?
So that's just how you guys roll? Just call a doctor?
I couldn't imagine
call a doctor, and they come to your house to make sure you're okay.
I can't even imagine a doctor at my house.
You don't have to hop into a cab and vomit all over the cab, go to the ER and wait for 3 hours and vomit all over yourself in the ER.
At least you're vomiting with other.
Somebody tell you you're going to be fine.
At least you're vomiting with other vomiting people at the ER. You guys can compare stories.
The ER
maybe
is the
watch
worst.
Some basketball.
Aaron Rand Freeman. The ER is the worst place in humanity.
Oh, I know. If you can help it, I've always offered my services to always go with someone to the ER for that reason, because when you're just sitting there by yourself and sick in the ER, it is bottom 5 activities in life.
The only thing that matches being sick in the ER, is being sick at a public, clinic. Free clinic. It's basically the same premise. Basically people are there because they have to be, and and they treat you, I can't even express how you're treated in these environments. And it's as if not only, how dare you have gotten sick, but on top of it, you can't afford it? Have a seat. Someone will be with you momentarily. Wow. Where would you like this billed? I assure you, I have gone to the doctor numerous times, as sick, and I can't express to you the brokenness that comes along with going into an ER and or a free clinic, to the point where there was, especially when I didn't have any insurance. At the moment, I'm actually in a no insurance, pocket because my wife switched jobs. So we have no insurance again until we get on our new insurance, which, by the way, we almost didn't get because she has a new job at a place, but she's on contract. So they didn't really have to give her whatchamacallit, healthcare. So we would have just been floating for a year, no healthcare, because she's on a contract and I run a business that kills my soul. And literally there was so many times where I'd rather just be ill than have to deal with the environments that come along with that.
Yep.
I'd rather be sick at home. My mom, who has insurance, I have to yell at her sometimes to go to the doctor, but especially if it's like any type of like urgent care. She doesn't even like to go to her urgent care with insurance. It's the environment that we have for health care is one of the worst environments. Now you can say, really? What about Somalia? I bet you their healthcare is worse. And to that I say, shut the fuck up! Really? You're comparing America's healthcare to Somalia. That's how you want to make your argument that we should just shut up and be happy and that we have the best healthcare in the world. No, some people have some of the best healthcare in the world, and then a lot of folks have shit. Absolute, positive bowls of magical shit. And you're told to rub it on yourself, and maybe you'll feel better tomorrow.
Sir.
We'll be back.